Hello again, Grizzly football fans, and welcome back to another edition of our Griz Tracks videos here. I'm AJ Mazzolini of the Mazzolini.
And I'm Bill Speltz. I cover the Griz football team for the Mazzolini.
And the Montana football team is coming off a pretty nice win over the weekend against UC Davis, in which the offense was really clicking, and they're going to be needing that because they're going down to Cal Poly to face the Mustangs this weekend.
Most definitely, and they've struggled to run the football on the road in 3 games. But they seem to have some momentum. Jordan Canada ran the ball especially well. Trayvon Van was mostly effective, although I think that the sore elbow is bothering him a little bit. But if they can get that running game going at Cal Poly, that'll really open things up for the whole offense.
Yeah, and the Griz offense has had some interesting home and away splits this year, but some of that is really due to the caliber of opponents that they've been playing on the road. Teams like Wyoming and at North Dakota State, obviously.
Definitely, that's a good point, AJ. They've had tough competition on the road, and it continues again this week. They're gonna have a wild crowd down there and a great environment for football, and we'll see if they can get something done. They couldn't get it done 4 years ago when they were number 1 in the country and went to Cal Poly. They lost a heartbreaker, so see if it can be different this time.
Yeah, that was their last trip down there. That was in 2010, as Bill was saying. And like every time that you face Cal Poly, the emphasis for the Griz defense is really on Cal Poly's offense, which is very unique and something that you don't see a lot in the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick learning that needs to be done this week. Learning that spread triple option. It's a lot of assignment football. Essentially what it is it's a lot of isolating players. So you have to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you get knocked down and they call the option right, if they execute it correctly, there's going to be some plays that blast wide open.
Yeah.
So you got to stay on your feet and you got to make the play when they come your way.
Yeah, it's very discipline based for the Grizzly defense, or any defense, obviously, facing the Mustangs, and it also can kind of take a few of the Montana weapons out of the game a little bit. Some of the really impressive, rush ends that the Griz have, like Zach Wagaman.
Yeah, that's a good point, AJ. They simply don't throw the ball that much, so it's hard for Montana's talented defensive ends, Zach Wagaman and Tyrone Holmes, to get in their track blocks and sprint in there and sack the quarterback. They just don't throw the ball that often. So when they do, it kind of catches you off guard. And one area where they have improved, according to their coach, is their passing game. Chris Brown, their quarterback, not only is he ranked 2nd in the league in rushing yards, but he's way up there in passing efficiency this year.
Yeah, because he doesn't throw the ball that often, and when he does, it kind of catches people by surprise. But still, very impressive for a quarterback to be ranked that high in rushing offense.
Sure, definitely. He's a dual threat. He didn't get to play against Montana last year. As you remember, they had to go with their backup.
Mm-hmm.
So he's excited about it. They're all excited about it after losing in overtime last year, of course. That was a heartbreaker for them.
All right, that was the game with the blocked field goal, correct?
That's right. It was a minor miracle, I'd call it, because it was essentially an extra point.
Yeah.
That if they kick that field goal, they're up by 10 with 2 minutes left. Instead, Jordy Tripp blocks that 26-yard field goal, and
very short field goal, and kind of sparks a Grizzly comeback win at Washington Grizzly Stadium. But again, this game is going to be on the Mustangs' home turf down there in California. How about on the other side of the ball? What do you think about the Grizzly offense against what Cal Poly can bring to the table?
Well, it's a solid defense. They're up there in the top half of the conference in most statistical areas. For Montana, they have to try to figure out a way to get that running game going on the road. I think they average about 50 yards running the ball on the road against their 3 opponents. As you mentioned, they've all been good defenses, Wyoming, North Dakota State, and North Dakota. But you get the run game going, then it opens things up for the wide receivers. I think it will help that Sean Haynes is back. He had his first game back. Mm-hmm. He's a speedster, so he'll take some of the heat off Jamal Jones, their top receiver. And maybe it'll open up things a little bit underneath for the tight ends, Mitch Saylor and Mike Ralston.
All right, and again, Bill, you're talking a little bit about the receivers that they'll have this week. One that we are for sure the Grizzlies will not have the rest of the year is Ellis Henderson. He's missed so much of the year already with that strange stomach virus, but he did leave the team last week and won't be coming back for the rest of this season.
Right, it really is a sad story, AJ. He's such a nice person, and he's lost weight and. I think he just, right now, his big interest is just trying to get healthy again, trying to be able to hold down food for, more than a few days at a time. And So hopefully he'll be back next season.
Yeah, we'd love to see that for sure. But again, this week is going to be the Cal Poly game down in California. That one is this Saturday. And make sure to stay up with the Grizzlies all week at Mazzolini.com and read Grizzly stories in the paper with the Mazzolini. And always check out our Griz Tracks videos weekly. We're putting them up Thursday evenings. Thanks for tuning in this week.